I'm Ashton Addison from the Crypto Coin Show, and today on Blockchain Interviews with Bentzi Rabi, the CEO of Utila. Bentzi, welcome to the show, and thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Let's just dive straight into it. I'd love to hear what you and your team have been working on at Utila. If we could just start from the top on sort of what is the vision and mission of the platform, and then we could dive into all things Web3.
Yeah, okay. So thank you for hosting me, and just a bit about Utila. So we came from a point saying that crypto is gonna be a main part of every business in the world, starting from financial services. And my background and also my co-founder is, in the cybersecurity side. We've been there for many years, from our military service, and after that in the industry here in Tel Aviv, and we've been in crypto for the last 8 years. I think that when you think about crypto adoption, organization, you think about mostly about the security challenge, which is still a very big challenge for a lot of organizations, on how you can actually, manage digital assets in a secure way, right? And it can be in either ways. It can be maybe you just hold them, as a payment that you get, or as, let's say, some offering that you build. Maybe you want to build an application, and wallet is just and the digital asset is only the backbone of it, or something that even the end user is not seeing, like the cloud of the internet. But the common thing for all of these cases is that there is a group of people, from 2 to can be hundreds of thousands for huge organizations, that need to manage digital assets in a secure way, in easy way, and Utila was built for this mission. So we want to enable every kind of organization, from small to big, to be able to store, mint, move digital assets in a secure and simplified way.
No, I think that's great, because I feel like the adoption curve for blockchain technology and digital assets is just exponentially growing. I think the Bitcoin ETF public launch and just more adoption of traditional finance into crypto as well is like that safeguard that more companies are seeing, hey, this stuff is on the stock market now. I think it's that time when it's becoming more of a majority. We better start figuring it out for our company, otherwise we're going to be behind. And you mentioned there, almost every kind of company can benefit from this, but financial services specifically are what we're seeing at the start. And of course, they have a lot of capital that they want to protect and safeguard as well and utilize. Now, with Utila and the team, are you guys focusing specifically on onboarding financial services companies, or are you seeing all different types of companies from around the world? What are the ones that are ready for adoption of this technology right now?
Yeah, so I would say that today still the biggest adoption that we see is among trading firms, like still, trading crypto as an asset, and some of them, they just hold it, for the long term. Some of them are holding it as some, investment they did, like, a VC fund, so that invested in some token projects, and they need like a secure wallet for that. Some of them, they built, let's say, some sort of a trading operation system for digital assets, for example, OTC desks or market makers. So I think today, or an exchange, of course. So today we still see most of the demand there. Many of them, they hold like a large amount of assets. They trade or settle in very large volumes, and are looking for a highly secured and easy way to manage all these kind of operations. So this is what we see today. What we start to see is more about let's leave in the side one moment the trading side, because the trading side has been always, like, I would say, and still, right, also the ETF is another part of it, one of the main use cases of crypto. But I do believe that the future of crypto actually lies on applications that you can build on top of the blockchain technology. Crypto assets is only one of them. So I would say that two main things that we currently see. One is everything around payments and, let's say, dollar access. So we start to see more and more applications trying to solve cross-border payments, quick settlements, remittances, etc. All of them built on stablecoins. And for us, it's, as I see it from mine, it might be the first real-world application of crypto. And the same, I would say, very similar applications can be also providing dollar access, for example, to LATAM or for Africa, where it's very difficult to get an access to this kind of coin. This is only one example, but there are more examples. And this is like one new use case that we see some growing demand for. The second one is tokenization of real world assets. Okay, so think about real estate, think about T-bills, think about options. That's why also in Utila recently we added the ability to tokenize assets in a secure and compliant way through the platform. So today we also serve token issuers that want to burn and mint through the Utila platform. They can do it in a way where they can manage access to who can burn and mint and how much, and to enforce policies, etc. So this is another growing use case that we see recently.
Mm-hmm. No, that's very exciting. And I mentioned that likely there's more adoption from the Bitcoin ETF going public and more companies looking at it, but you would know best being in the industry. And it's only been about a month or less that the ETF has actually launched. And I know large companies take a long time to make decisions. Even the ETF launch itself was 10 years in the making of all the legalities they had to go through. So I'm curious, from more of an insider perspective, working with these companies, since the ETF launch, have you seen an uptake of interest of more companies coming in? Or what do you think the timeline is for that? And after that, maybe it takes a few months or half a year for more companies to realize that they should be getting on this train?
Definitely. I must say that already around the middle of November, I started feeling, and I think also when you look at the market, right? Like the market, you look at the graphs, you see that already around 2 months before, when the general feeling was that we are going towards positive news, I would say, by the SEC. So the market started to eat up, and I would say that especially after the beginning of January, when it was approved, we see. I would say we have a screen in the office, and in the screen we can see total volumes running on the platform. I would say that since then we can see that the numbers are growing very rapidly. Okay, so this is I would say the best evidence to see. Besides that, we see even more traditional players that we never imagined talking to us last year, showing interest. We get more inbounds from them, so looks like it's really influencing the market. It makes people feel more comfortable, mostly on the institutional side. That's we are also targeting in Utila. That's our bet. So we see more of them are feeling more comfortable, and not necessarily around Bitcoin, right? The ETF was only for Bitcoin, but in general, it's just a proof of acknowledgement, I would say, for the entire blockchain industry.
Yeah, I completely agree. And for those companies that you haven't seen come in the door yet, what do you think are some of the major barriers to entry in why some large companies and small companies haven't started adopting blockchain? Is it trying to find a place to make sure that the assets are secure, or understanding how it fits into their business, or other reasons?
Yeah, I would say a few things. First of all is the lack of some regulatory clarity. I do think that it's still, you don't have, let's say, specific, simple procedures. A good example is MiCA in Europe that soon will take an act. So I think organizations are looking for the same kind of thing, for example, in the US. It's still, for example, there was an SEC proposal for RIAs that they must hold all assets in qualified custodians. It's still a proposal, so no one knows exactly what to do. Some are using a QC, some are not. This is only one example, right? So I would say as long as we have more regulatory clarity, I think for the market, for organizations, it will make more sense to enter the space. Second thing, I would say privacy. I do think that the main one of the main advantages of crypto is the speed, right? You can do a payment from Brazil to Australia in 10 seconds. I would say that still one of the main challenges is privacy, right? Where everything goes on the public and open to everyone, I think it's still moving some organizations from using it due to privacy issues. And I believe that if there will be like better solutions of privacy preserving blockchains, keeping, the same level of speed and decentralization but on the other side, bringing more privacy, I would say it probably be another driver. And the third one, of course, and here I'm not so objective, is security, right? Like when you need to manage crypto assets, you need to be very careful. This market, it can be sometimes not so nice if you lose your private key or you do any mistake. In many cases, you cannot do any reverse here and you cannot return the funds to yourself. So I would say that you need to be extra careful in this market. You need to be very careful of insider threats, security policies, etc. And I think that this is another thing that making organizations to consider all the time if they want to enter this space. I would say that if they will have easy ways to manage digital assets in a secure way, this will make them probably feel more comfortable with entering the space. And this is the mission that we are trying to solve.
Mm-hmm. No, I really resonate with that, Bentzi. And I think the last 2 points there about privacy and security, privacy specifically as well, as more corporations come in, they want privacy for competitive reasons, for many reasons, not because they're trying to hide something, only from their competitors to gain that competitive advantage. And all these different blockchain technologies, they have different levels of security and privacy and functionality. And I feel like the ZK technology might be helping with that. I do know that there are some firms that are trying to introduce that into more blockchains to adapt it to overall in the industry to bring more privacy. I feel like that would bring a lot more institutions in as well. And now when there are new companies coming in, there's so many different options for them for different blockchains, assets that they can use. I can almost count 50 different blockchains off the top of my head now, and they all are slightly different from each other. How do you work with the companies when they come in, if they want a private blockchain or a public blockchain, or they're looking for the most security or privacy? Do you recommend a certain technology, or do you only work with certain blockchains?
Yeah, so the way we work at Utila is that we never give any recommendation when it comes to, let's say, buy-sell advice or which blockchain you should use. Mm-hmm. We are trying to avoid it and focus only on the technology layer. That's where we good, right? Mm-hmm. So usually we just work just based on the customer demand. Of course, if someone is coming to me and we have it many times, right? And they want like a support for a specific, for a very specific blockchain that I never heard of. So I would say then maybe I will need to, to consider if I really want to support this blockchain. But generally speaking, I would say that we're trying to work only with the major ones and not to take some specific bets.
Mm-hmm. Great. And Bentzi, I'm curious more on the Utila wallet. How does the custody of the digital assets work? Is it self-custody? Are there vaults? Is there a hybrid solution? How exactly do the digital assets work in the wallet with Utila?
Yeah, sure. So the wallet is built on multi-party computation. Mm-hmm. The idea of multi-party computation is that we take the private key of the wallet and we split it into X shards. In the Utila case, we split it into 2 shards, and we hold one shard, and the other shard sits on the customer's end. But we never have a full access to the private key. Okay, so the customer is the only one who actually managed the full backup. of the private key, and they can reconstruct, regenerate all the wallets, the addresses out of the Utila platform. I would say in almost every jurisdiction in the world, it's considered to be a non-custodial offering because we don't hold the full private key, just a part of it. And the magic of MPC is that you can still sign transactions and act like the full key is in one place. But the actual truth is that private key is never sitting in any point of time in completely on one place. It's separated between different places, but it still acts like it's in one place. So that's the magic of this kind of technology. It's not a new technology actually. It's something that is from the 70s, 80s in the cryptography world, but it was started to be a part of the crypto world around 7-8 years ago. And today it's becoming more like a mainstream, especially for institutions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great to hear. I have seen some companies working in the MPC technology, and I do understand it's more secure. For a company that's getting started and they're like deciding between doing self-custody, on a hardware wallet and a USB stick themselves versus within Utila and with the MPC, what are the major benefits to that? Is it that they require external confirmation to send transactions, or if they happen to lose part of the key, what are the benefits of actually working with Utila?
Yes, I would say besides of security, that we provide a very high security level, and many times the alternative will be, let's say, not so secured solutions. I would say another thing is, first of all, the multi-chain approach. So in Utila, you can manage assets on various chains under one umbrella. You will not need, like a wallet for Bitcoin, a wallet for Ethereum, a wallet for Solana, and a wallet for Tron. You can do everything in Utila, which is a great advantage. The second layer is the policy engine. So in Utila, you can, beside of the key management, which is a very important part of our security stack, is also the ability to manage users, roles, permissions, transaction policies, the ability to set rules in a very similar way to the traditional finance world, right? Like in your bank account, when you are like an organization, you can set, transaction policies and say, okay, if it's more than $5,000, you need like 2 from these groups to approve it. And if it's more than 10K, you also need this person to approve it. In Utila, you can actually define the same kind of rules, which is something that you don't really have in other wallets. So I would say this is another advantage. The third advantage is the scalability of the solution. Okay, so organizations who work with us are usually organizations that are building an offering or managing, let's say, a big amount of assets. And I think for them, it's very important to work on a scalable offering there. So I would say that's the 3 main things that make Utila a good solution.
That's really great to hear about the granularity of the amount and the size of transactions. I can imagine you might be trading $5,000 daily with one person, and then if you kick that up to the $100,000 portfolio, don't allow them to withdraw the whole thing without extra confirmations. But of course, they need to perform their daily tasks, and you don't want to have to do a multi-sig for every transaction. It would just be too much of a hassle. So that's great to hear.
Exactly.
And now, is there anything else about the Utila wallet besides the security of it? There's so many wallets out there. I feel like having a great user experience or user interface really helps with adoption or other functionalities. Is there anything else that you and your team are trying to bring as a competitive advantage into the wallet?
Yeah, I would say, and you already mentioned it, definitely simplicity. I do think that enterprise-grade wallets, like the landscape where we are also acting, most of them, the lack of simplicity. And I would say that the secret sauce of Utila is to maintain the same high level of security, but on the other end, to make things very simple. So, for example, the onboarding time to Utila is less than 5 minutes. It's super fast. All the platform is very intuitive to use, not only for crypto digens, right? Like in the end, our assumption is that the next people will use it. Actually, are people who are coming from the TradFi world, and they are looking for a simple way, an easy way to manage crypto assets. I would say that's That's where we are trying to put most of our effort. Also, the policy engine and many other solutions. It's still like a very manual process. Like the old days in Utila, we built everything from day zero in a self-serve, super intuitive way. Besides that, we are all the time trying to extend asset support, which is a very important part of what we do. We are trying to add a lot of features to the product. So just, examples from the last few weeks. One was the ability to self-servicely do a token whitelist or to track DeFi allowances. We also have connectivity to exchange account, which is a big thing for a lot of trading firms. So I would say that Utila is more than just a wallet. In a way, we are building an operations platform for an organization as we grow, because we started from the wallet, but all these integrations, all these features are making us much more than just a wallet.
Yeah, it just opens a can of worms of all of the functionality of rebuilding the whole TradFi ecosystem into Web3. So I feel like there's a long way to go. And I feel like there's a lot more adoption to come from companies that are, late adopters or majority adopters. Hopefully throughout 2024, we see a continuance of more companies coming into Web3. And with Utila, I'm curious on what your team is focusing on throughout 2024, whether it's part of the major roadmap for expansion of the wallet or other functionality, and anticipating more entrants into Web3 and how to lock them into your team's project.
Yes, I would say about three things. One is extending asset support. So today we support Bitcoin, major EVM, Solana, Tron. We are now also looking at Cosmos, which is a very growing and exciting ecosystem. We also look at Stellar and some others. So this is definitely one main thing for us. Another thing is to add more capabilities when it comes to gas fee management. I would say that, especially as I said, around payments and embedding stable coins mostly in applications for cross-border payments, for dollar access, for remittances, etc. There is still a big need for better user experience when it comes to gas fee management. Today you need to manually tap wallets whenever you are sending any crypto. And we are building easy ways for organizations to actually pay automatically gas without the need to add crypto to these wallets, enabling a much better user experience when it comes to that. So this is like another big thing for us. Another thing that is more relevant for trading firms is what's called off-exchange trading. Okay, so especially after recent events with some exchanges in the crypto world, there is a growing demand for a segregation between custody and trading or an exchange. And many organizations that are looking for an offering where, let's say, they can store their funds in the Utila wallet while, doing trading in some exchange without moving the funds actually into the exchange itself, right? So avoiding counterparty risk. This is like another offering that we are working on, and hopefully we'll have some exciting news later this year on it.
Very cool. And if there are companies that want to follow along with these updates and try out Utila Wallet right now as well, where's the best place for them to get started?
Yes, I would recommend two places. One is, of course, our website. We are trying to update it all the time. There are customer stories, more like security overviews, etc. The second place is our LinkedIn or Twitter. We are trying to publish every week at least one product announcement, feature announcement. It's pretty up to date, so I would recommend them both.
Sounds great, and I can leave those links in the show notes below and a direct link to the Utila wallet for everyone to check it out. I appreciate your insights, Bentzi, into the industry here, and let's hope that it continues to grow exponentially post Bitcoin ETF into the halving and into hopefully the biggest bull run we've seen, and not just in the price of digital assets, but the adoption of this technology into some of the biggest companies in the world. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm wishing you and the team at Utila all the best moving forward.
Thank you, Ashton. Thanks for hosting me.